Welcome to Extended Readings 2. In the main video, we've talked about Ainu Kanas as an example of how small kanas are used to write another language. In this video, I want to show you the other well-known example, that is the Taiwanese Kanas. This is a system that came up in the late 19th century as a spelling system for Taiwanese, during which Taiwan was a colony of Japan. This system is recorded in a Taiwanese dictionary, links in the description. It's in Japanese with old kanji and kana, so just so what you're getting yourself into if you decide to take a look. First of all, what is Taiwanese? Because Taiwan actually has many languages. It's got the Aboriginal people with their languages, and Chinese people who kind of invaded and took over and had already become the majority of the island at the time. The most popular language on the island back then was Hokkien, so that's what they were calling Taiwanese back then. Today is the second most popular language on the island, with Taiwanese Mandarin in the lead, but that would not have happened for a couple more decades. Let's talk about some features of the Taiwanese kana system. There are 6 vowels, so wo was used as a 6, which kind of sounds like o or a, I think. The distinction between t and ch was made with diacritics, a dash on top of the character, effectively bolstering one row of the count table into 2 rows. You can see how they would be spelled today with examples on the right. And you can add a dot under a kana to signify voiced consonant. As we mentioned in the main video, you got the small ku to pu for consonant k to p, but there are more small characters for other consonants as well. And at last, the most interesting feature, which is the tone marker, marking one of the 7 tones in the language, and you think 4 tones in Mandarin is a lot. Here are some examples of the kana system in use in the Taiwanese Dictionary. At top, there's words written in Taiwanese Kanas. Since this is a branch of Chinese after all, most of the words have corresponding Chinese characters. Then we have explanations in Japanese, like any other dictionary. And then we have samples in Taiwanese along with translations. Note how Taiwanese kanas are katakanas and Japanese kanas are hiraganas on top of the character. What I find especially interesting is the examples in Taiwanese are written in Chinese characters with Taiwanese kanas on top, acting like a furigana sort of thing, or pinyin, basically serving as a spelling system. Shown on screen are some other ways you can spell Chinese, which are very common on textbooks for kids. You can see it's pretty similar. Here's another example of Taiwanese kanas in practice. This is from a book published in 1896 containing common daily phrases for Taiwanese people to learn Japanese and vice versa. We can see Japanese on top, Taiwanese on the bottom. Taiwanese is written again with Chinese characters plus Taiwanese kanas next to them. All the sources I'm using have links in the descriptions, and they are free to access the whole thing if you want to just get a better look. Here's another example of Taiwanese kanas in practice. This is a book for school children. Taiwanese kanas are used at the end of a class with kanas only. This is pretty easy. You can probably understand what the Japanese is for. Taiwanese is here seen as an inferior language. In conclusion, Taiwanese can mostly be written with Chinese characters already, and the kana system was, I think, more for pronunciation. It was more convenient for adults to go off Chinese characters they already knew. For children, there's no need to teach them. The literacy rate of Taiwan at the time, by the way, was pretty low. It's about 10%, but still, I guess that's gonna be 20% for adult males, so it's somewhat there. Source in the description. It's in Chinese though. Taiwanese kana system entered obsolescence after the colonial rule of Taiwan came to an end.